Dawn, at Oral Roberts, not a great start, but boy, you turned it around and shot the ball very, very well after a slow start.
Well, we did. We shot 20% in the first quarter, and we were getting really good shots. We had 3 or 4 layups around the rim that we just missed, or short shots that we just missed. We got to the free throw line, but we scored at a 20% clip. And Oral Roberts, to their credit, is very, very good defensively. It's hard to break them down. But we started to get into better rhythm as the game progressed, and we shot, I think, 50%, close to 50% in the second quarter, and then we scored at an 80 and a 75% clip after that. So that was pretty phenomenal that we were able to do that.
We talked about Maria Martianez, and she did not miss a lot in that first half against you.
Well, Maria Martianez is about a 6'3", 6'4" post kid that when she catches it inside the arc, you have to crowd her. When she catches it, and has a little bit of space, she shoots it, and she made it in our game, and she has the ability to do that. But it's also tough to really get into her space because she releases it so high. So you're helping, and then you recover, and she catches it, and she shoots it. So we really had a hard time getting to her fast enough early in the game because we were in gaps helping. They penetrated, they kicked. So then we went back to, all right, 1, we need to get to her quicker, and we need to pressure her, but 2, we need to do a better job in one-on-one guarding so that we don't have to help as much off of her.
I know you were concerned about their ability to rebound, and they got 11 offensive boards. Was that number too high for you?
Well, considering that they scored at a very efficient clip, at an over 50% clip, it was too high. It's something that we continue, to work on, to talk about, to emphasize. And it's a disadvantage, honestly, of 2 things. 1, of being a little bit smaller than we want to be, and 2, fronting the post. When you're small and you have 2 options, you can play behind post kids and double them, and then you're in better rebound position, but you're scrambling in different ways. Or 2, front them, and that's what we've been doing, and we've turned a lot of teams over, but there's give and take with everything that you do, and part of that is that we're giving up more offensive rebounds than we want to.
So your offense came around. The defense really came around. I mean, Madison McKeever had 5 steals. You forced some turnovers, especially in that key stretch in the third quarter there, and overall, your defense really, really kept you in this game to allow the offense to pick up. Well,
we were down, I think, 11 points with 10.5 minutes to go, or 12.5 minutes to go in the game. So we were with 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. We called timeout, down 10 or 11, and had to change into a different type of a defense. We went into a trapping kind of a defense, and Madison McKeever just made some plays during that stretch, and so did Allison Arns. Allison may not have gotten credit for some of the steals, but those 2 kids were flying everywhere and deflecting passes, and it was really kind of fun to watch.
And then Allison was just lights out from the floor as well, 6 of 9, 18 points, and then you got another great contribution from Jasmine off the bench.
Well, we did. Both of those are exactly right. Those are 2 kids that were able to get to the rim, but also hit some threes when we really needed them. Allison hit 2 in transition. Jazz hit 1 late in the game. That was really a big shot for us. Both of those young ladies played extremely, extremely well and were efficient offensively at the same time.
So then back home on Saturday against Omaha, down a starter because of injury, so you insert Jasmine into the starting lineup for the first time since December 9th. She liked being in the starting lineup, Coach. She started out that game pretty well, scoring 8 of your first 12 points.
Well, I can't believe she missed one of the 3 arc shots that she took. So Jasmine has been playing very, very well. And talk about a kid who has just the exact mentality that you want. You say, Jasmine, we need you to come off the bench and give us a spark. Yep, absolutely, whatever it takes. My senior year, not a problem. Jazz, we need you to start now, and we need you to play in this capacity. Yep, absolutely, whatever you need. So J.C. Bradley was out for us because of some injuries that she's had. She's played through them for a few games and just couldn't do it in this game. So Jasmine jumped back into that starting lineup and played very, very well. She played only 21 minutes. She got into a little bit of foul trouble early, and that limited some of her minutes. But in the second half, we tried to get her some rest for her body a little bit.
And then Kier Duffy stepped up, and she reeled off 10 straight at one point, and 10 first-half points, I should say, and another outstanding game for her as well.
Well, she's someone who continues to again, play in a variety of different spots for us, play on the perimeter, play inside, And Omaha played us in a zone. So they played a lot of zone last year. That was really their go-to thing. They played some switching man. Early in this year, they were playing more man-to-man. And then just the game before us, when they played Denver, they played probably one of their best games that they had played and played their zone. So in Kira, what Kira has done for us this year has played a little bit of that perimeter spot, where she played last year, but also kind of a high post spot for us. And that was really Abby Fogg last year. So Kira, again, someone who continues to fill in a lot of voids and fill in a lot of spots for us.
And we know about Madison McKeever, the defender, but Madison McKeever, the offensive presence, showed up in that game.
Well, she did. There were quite a few opportunities, and sometimes just the way the ball moves and how zones shift and what happened was that she had a lot of opportunities kind of late in the shot clock, where all of a sudden her teammates would penetrate, kick, move, and the ball would land in her hands, and she did a really nice job of taking advantage of that. And
again, another big turnover output for your defense.
Well, that's where we've been a good defensive team, and that's where we struggled in the Oral Roberts game. I guess we turned them over 18 times, but we feel like we've gotten to the point where we're used to turning teams over in our man. We weren't able to do that against Oral Roberts, so we had to go to our zone to turn them over. Against Omaha, we stayed in our man. That's really been our signature to some extent this year. But someplace we've got to continue to grow is when we don't turn you over, can we get better defensively in those scenarios?
Dawn, let's talk about distributing the ball. You guys, 17 assists in that Omaha game. You're leading the league right now in assists, and you're also leading the league in field goal percentage. How are those two numbers related?
Well, you're exactly right. You share the ball, you get good shots, you have a chance to make more of those. And it's been something that, we actually kind of laughed about it in film yesterday. We watched some of our clips from some of the past games and sharing the basketball and passing better and seeing kids and making the plays. And last year, not being able to see those kids. And what we laughed about was we spent the postseason working on screening and passing. Two things that in the game you say, really, in the postseason, aren't you supposed to be working on scoring or, shooting the basketball better? And those are key areas for us. But in order to get the shots, we felt like we needed to do two things better. One, we needed to screen better, and two, we needed to pass better. And so those were areas that we've really focused on. And to our players' credit, they continue to get better at it.
So you got the final game of the first half coming up at Frost Arena on Thursday. The lone two remaining unbeaten teams in the Summit League so far. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's the State U game.
Yeah, I think there should be a fun atmosphere. I think State is playing at an extremely, extremely high level. They just really took care of Western Illinois. They're a team that can get hot and can take care of you on both ends and can separate very fast in a game. They've shown it time and time again in our conference. They've shown that Frost Arena is a tough place to play, with beating Oklahoma there, as well as contending and maybe even should have beaten Louisville there. So a great opportunity for our team to play in that environment, but a great opportunity to really get tested in so many different ways by South Dakota State. And Macy Miller is playing at an extremely high level, but so is the Giebert kid, and Tegan Larson's doing an awful lot of nice things, and Alexander's getting a lot of rebounds and making things happen for them and sticking open shots. And they've got so many kids on their team that can make things happen that it's not a one or two player show. They're very well balanced. And what they're able to score quickly. They're able to sustain that. They're able to finish at the end of shot clocks. They're able to offensive rebound. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they're a great defensive team. And, oh, by the way, Frost Arena is really hard to hear. So your players have to play. They just have to have an extreme level of toughness, determination, and ability. To be tough is one thing, but you also have to have the ability to make shots in that scenario, to take care of the basketball in that scenario, to complete those passes, to, score around the rim, to get to the free throw line, to stop penetration, get back to shooters, take away shots, take away drives, challenge, pull up jump shots, and rebound the basketball on top of it. So it's a lot. It's asking an awful, awful lot. But that's what a great way for us to be tested now in the middle of the season. And certainly we will learn from this opportunity to play there.
It's funny you mentioned rebounding, Dawn, because here's the team that is leading the Summit right now in rebounding, but yet you look at the individual stats, they don't have a single player in the top 6 in individual rebounding, which means everybody on the floor is contributing to those rebounding numbers.
Well, and that's what makes it really, really challenging, because you feel like, I was just watching some of their clips this morning, you feel like you do a pretty good job taking away, an early attack and transition from them. And, Alexander doesn't have the ball, but, whoever else on the team shoots it. It could be Macy Miller, it could be Gieber, it could be Hagan. And all of a sudden, here comes Lexi Alexander from no man's land and comes up with a rebound. And you say, well, is she one of their top rebounders? Ellie Thompson's one of their top rebounders, but you're exactly right. You can't take a break. You can't let up. You can't miss a box out in any one part of a possession, because every single kid on the team is wired and has that mindset to attack you constantly.
And then a quick turnaround, and you go from Brookings on Thursday to Denver on Saturday. You got a doubleheader with the men. Those are always fun.
Well, this will be a monumental, challenging week for us, with playing on Thursday on the road. We come back home. We'll get up in the morning, watch film, get a practice in, get back on the road again, and head out to Denver, and then turn around and play Saturday afternoon early. So this will be, our players will physically be challenged during this stretch, definitely, but mentally they're going to be challenged during this stretch. And so what I think players, and I think our strength and conditioning staff and our athletic training staff do a really good job of educating athletes now on how to recover their bodies. And that's really, really important, because you're in a crucial stretch, 2 games on the road, 2 opponents that are playing at a high level. How do you get ready to compete in back-to-back opportunities like this?
And the first meeting against Denver, you got off to a great start and played great defense, and now you know a little bit more about Claire Grit. Sometimes as freshmen, you don't know what these players are capable of. You've seen her now, and so you'll be able to scout her better the second time around.
What an incredible last name for the game of basketball,
yes.
Right? Grit. Her last name is Grit. How tough is that? How cool is that? Yeah, and a kid who plays like her name describes. That's exactly what she does. She's a kid that can shoot it, but she's really a great driver. She finishes. She gets to the free throw line. Oh, and yeah, she gets offensive rebounds as well. So I think Jim Turgeon has done a fantastic job in year one, is, really taken Denver to another level. And certainly playing there is always a challenge as well.
And this is the team that in a game last week against North Dakota State hit 16 threes.
It's amazing, because the Summit League over and over again just amazes me with how well teams, one, shoot it, but two, in order to shoot it, a lot of times they break your defense down by getting some either pass penetration in the post or drill penetration, and now kids can score it one-on-one, so you have to help, and then you help, and then they kick it. Well, you get to that kid, and then they move it, and there's someone else on the floor that can shoot it. So it's an impressive statistic to be able to shoot it as well as they shoot it, but also, to not just rely on having to shoot it from the arc to score points. They really do a great job of attacking you, and they attack you. Last year they attacked more with their post kids. This year they're attacking more with drill penetration with their guards.